What's up everyone? In this video I'm building my Grom engine and I'm turning it from a 125cc into a 205cc. I already started and took the motor apart. The cases are down there. I have all the parts for it up here, the stock parts, the transmission, the clutch, all that stuff's up here, including the new parts that I got for the build. So let me show you guys the new parts and show you guys the build. So this is a 186 kit from TD Parts. Came with the cylinder, piston, the rings, everything that I need for the top end. I also got the bigger valves with the dual valve springs to reinforce the head. I'm going to do some porting on it and make it bigger to match the valves. To make it bigger than the 186 millimeter kit, I had to make it a stroker. So I had to buy a stroker pin. This pin is 3 millimeters offset to make it basically 6 millimeters stroke bigger, because it's 3 up and 3 down. Then I also got a longer rod, new bearings for the stroker pin, longer chain. Since the stroke is longer, everything is basically gonna move up a lot higher than what it used to, so I had to get a spacer for the cylinder. This is gonna space it out to sit up higher. So with that, I had to get longer studs, 2 gaskets, so you can put a gasket under here and on the top and bottom. I upgraded the normal gasket. I found the full copper gasket for the head. I'm not gonna use the regular like 2-layer or 1-layer, I think it is on these. I'm just gonna put the copper one. That should give it a way better seal. I also got the 4th bearing support, and then I'm waiting on a couple other parts from Honda still. I got bearings for the transmission, all new bearings for the motor, the crank bearing, all this stuff. I got gaskets for the cases. I got all the seals I need. Basically everything's gonna be brand new. I'm still waiting on that stuff, so but just starting the build now. Just gonna start showing you guys it and start doing some work. Probably gonna start building this crank right now and show you guys that process. I have the stock one over there. I have to take it apart and then build it with this, balance it, and then I'm gonna also lighten it a little bit and change the weight on it so that it all flows better with the big bore kit. So basically that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm probably just gonna start building the crank actually, and then I'll show you guys the crank when it's ready and we'll start from there. All right, so I got the stock crank taken apart. This is the stock rod, stock bearing, and the stock pin. And then this is the new rod, the new stroker pin, and the new bearings. Let me show you guys the rod. This is the stock one, and that's the bigger, stronger one that I got. I don't know if you can tell, it's a lot longer. Put it on top here. It's longer, and you can see it's thicker on the bottom. It's bigger around here, and it's thicker on the side. It's not much side by side, but it's a lot thicker here. So let me put the rod and crank together and I'll show you guys that when it's ready. All right, so I got the crank built. I got the new rod in with the stroker pin in there. I already trued it. Now I just gotta balance it. So I'll show you guys the truing. I have it, try to focus. I'm gonna try to zero it out for you guys. There we go. So you guys can see it's actually touching, and it can go lower or higher. So put it back, that's 0, and spin it. I got it perfect. Took a little bit, but I didn't want it to move. I wanted it to be perfect on 0. I did both sides. Both sides are the same. I'm gonna flip it around and I'll show you guys the other side. All right, so I just spun it around. I have it on 0. I just moved it, but there I'm spinning it. It's hard to keep it steady because once I roll it right here, like if I go like that, that messes up the reading, but just spin it real quick like this. It stays steady. So I'm gonna balance this now. I gotta cut some notches and maybe drill some holes. I'll show you guys when I get that done, and we'll start working on the head. All right, so I have the crank balanced. I'm pretty sure I did a lot of research on crank balancing and balance factor and stuff like that. Before I took it apart, I did the calculations also and figured out what it was. And now I have it either really close to the same or like it's on there, because it doesn't spin anymore. Like I could stop it wherever it is. I add a little weight to it because when I did the stock one, this is how it was. Like it would stop anywhere, even if I didn't have the weight or if I added the weight. If you look up balance factor, you'll figure it out why I'm doing this, but I could make it stay anywhere. So I'm pretty sure I have it balanced. I'm gonna try it out and we're gonna figure it out, see if it works, but hopefully it's good. I also was a little iffy on the dial indicator that I had. I had this one here from a while ago. I never really used it much, but it's a digital one and I didn't trust it. Like I had it on here and it just, like, I don't know, the reading was going crazy. Maybe I just didn't have it balanced right, or it really was off. But I went and I got this one that you guys saw when I balanced or like trued it. It didn't move at all after I was done with it. But I didn't really trust this one because it was it's in inches. So I bought 2 more. I bought this one here that's in millimeters. If it'll focus, I can show you. This one's in 0.1 millimeters, like 0.01 millimeters. This one reads up to 10 millimeters. And then I got this one that's in 0.001. That's like the smallest, almost the smallest reading you can get. I think there might be one that's smaller, but this is really small. Like you barely move this and it goes crazy. Like you can read like how thin a hair is with this. This one's really sensitive. But I trued it with that one actually because it made it easier, because once you get it close enough, you can dial it in right. But let me show you guys with this one. Since the Grom is in millimeters, the run out is 0.1 millimeters, which is, I don't know, that sounds like a lot to me. And all the videos I watched and just stuff I read, people were going way lower than that. So that's what I wanted to try to do. Let me try to zero this out for you. All right, so it's on 0. When I spin it, like it moves 3, so that would be like 0.3. So like if you count all the way up to 10, that would be 0.10, which is what the run out would be. So this side is well within the clearance. And then this side, this one's the good side. I don't know, I couldn't really get it any better than that on that side, but on this one it's close to 0. It moves like 0.1, so in total it's basically like 0.004, 0.005, because it moves a little bit extra on both of them. So let's just say 0.005, but that's like half of what the actual manual says that it needs to be. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna be good. I'm gonna try it out and we're gonna see how it runs. So I'm gonna put the bottom end together now. I'm gonna get the cases and clean them, and I'm gonna install the crank, and I'll show you guys when I have it in there and start putting the head on and stuff like that. And then I'll show you guys the ported head with the bigger valves and start putting it all together. So let me get the bottom end going and I'll show you guys that. All right, so I got the crank and the case, got the tranny in there. I just closed it up. The first thing I do once I close the motor is I stick the shift fork in there and I make sure that I can shift through the gears and stuff. I've messed up before where it wouldn't shift at all, or I put something backwards once and the gears were reversed. So yeah, now I make sure that it all works before I put it all together and then test it on the bike, because it's easy. I put the shifter on there, spin that and make sure it goes through the gears, and yeah, so it's good. So I'm gonna put the clutch in, all the rest of this stuff on, and I'm gonna get ready to close this case up, and then I'll show you guys once I'm gonna put the cover back on. Oh yeah, another thing is I wipe the RTV off before it dries on the where I put it right here, so that once it's dry and you put the motor back together, it's not like full of RTV on the side and stuff. I hate when you look at it and it's like that glob of stuff right here. So I just wipe it down before it gets dry. It's easy, you just wipe it and that's it. Sorry, let me put it all together and I'll show you guys once I'm ready to close it up. All right, so everything's on it, ready to go. Just show you guys the clutch plate with the 6 bolts that I did, the lightweight oil spinner, the Koso high flow oil pump. It's got the wheelie mod. The pipe goes to the middle and the center of the block so that it picks up all the oil once you're doing wheelies. And I'm gonna put the cover on right now and then start putting the piston and the cylinder on, and then I'll show you guys the head and stuff like that and start finishing it off. All right, so getting ready to install the piston and the cylinder. I got this 10mm spacer here. I had to get 2 base gaskets, for one on the bottom here and one on top of this plate. The longer head studs, because of the longer stroke and the longer rod, I need to space the head out. I had to get the longer chain also. I already got that stuff installed. Also 2 longer dowels to line everything up. So I'm gonna put the cylinder on, the piston on, and I'll show you guys that once it's ready. All right, so I installed the piston, the cylinder, the gasket, the spacer, and I got the head. I'm gonna tell you guys a little story about it, but I'm gonna show you guys the ports that I did. That's the intake side, and then that's the exhaust. But since I ported it and then I told you guys that I'm putting in the bigger valves, I had to send out the head to a machine shop to have them cut the seats to install the bigger valves. And I sent it out and I got the head back and it just wasn't done correctly. I could see light straight through the seat. The valve wasn't sealing, and there's no way that it would have ran. Like it might have ran, but it wouldn't have ran good, and it wouldn't have been right. Like that's not how it's supposed to be. That's the reason why I didn't do it myself, and I sent it to someone, because I'd rather have it done right and just pay a little money to make sure that it was right, but it didn't work out that way. So yeah, it wasn't done correctly, and I could see through the seat. It just wasn't sealing. So I spoke to the guy and he wanted me to send it back to him so he can fix it. I understand he would want to do that, but I just don't see the point. Like, if you had it there and you didn't do it right once, why am I gonna send it back to you so you can try to do it again? Like, I don't think that's right. So I asked him for my money back, and he didn't really want to send the money back. He just wanted me to send the head back to him, but I didn't want to do that. I'd rather just figure it out myself, which I did. And I talked to him and we spoke about it, and he offered me 75% or 50% off or return on the service, which I don't understand how you do a service that's not right and you still want to charge money on it, but that's fine. So yeah, it's fixed now. Thank you to my friend AJ for helping me fix it. I should have just went to you the first time. I just didn't think about it. I thought it would have been easier to just send it off to someone that supposedly knows what they're doing, and it just didn't work out. So my friend actually helped me refix the issue. As you guys can see, there's still a little die cam in there that he used to fix the seat. And yeah, so now it's sealing both of them, exhaust and the intake side. I had to adjust the height and stuff like that, so it's just been a little trouble getting it done, but finally have it ready. And I'm gonna install the valves now. I'm gonna install the valves, and then I'm gonna CC the head because I'm gonna see what the compression is gonna be on here. I already measured out the deck clearance, the CCs of the piston. I know the rest of the measurements that I need, and I'm gonna figure out what the compression is gonna be and if I need to change it at all. And then I'll show you guys once I'm ready to install everything on here. All right, so I just installed the valves and doing the CCs now. I just figured it out. So I use these with some water. You could use oil or something. I got the CCs. I know the measurements. I figured out the compression's at 11.3 like to 1, 11.2 to 1, basically right there. I wanted it a little higher, but I'm not gonna take it apart again just to go up a little bit. So I wanted it at 12, but that should be fine. So I'm gonna just clean this up, and I'm gonna install the head, and we'll get it on the motor and have it ready to put back on the bike. All right, so here it is. Getting ready to put the fourth bearing support. I already have everything basically ready. Installed the head, did the cam, the timing, the valve covers, and the intake manifold with throttle body and everything. So it's basically all ready to go. Just gonna install the fourth bearing support and put the stator cover on, and then I'll be ready to put back on. So I'll show you guys when it's all ready and done. All right, so she's all ready. I got the fourth bearing installed, the stator cover, to show you guys everything all finished up. Got this like V-stack, basically what it's called. And yeah, now I'm just gonna install it on the motor, and I'll make a video for you guys to do the first startup. So thank you guys for watching. If you like my videos, please subscribe and stay tuned for the first startup video and test drive, and hopefully a dyno video soon. So thank you.